Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
So growth laws. So why should you know the growth law? Because I have explained here this lecture on crop growth laws explain the set of limiting factors influencing growth and development, and also that gives a learning outcomes or relationship of the growth factors with crop yield, then crop yield response to nutrients application. So here what we'll discuss the several growth factors are responsible for the proper growth and development of the crop, and how the application of especially the nutrient that influence the yield of crop. The response of the crop yield to one of the input application nutrient that we'll be discussing, and there are some scientists, they have worked much before and they have established some of the growth laws still applicable. So we can follow the science is there. The science remains same. The fundamental principles are same because those growth laws are applicable today itself, and that gives a proper understanding of the crop growth and yield. And as for the different factors, growth factors, these are the growth factors: the nutrient and soil fertility, soil productivity, the nutrient availability in the soil, soil physical properties and chemical properties, and the biotic factors. Those biotic factors are your weeds, pests, and diseases when the crops grow in the field. So they do suppress the crop growth, because weeds, they do suppress crop growth. Is like as a is also like a pest, and the normal pest and disease that also affect the crop production. And beside that, the abiotic factors, these are the weather related factors. That's your the water stress or excess water, either the deficit water. If there is excess water, that brings stress, and the deficit water also brings stress. Then you have the light, solar radiations, temperature, and other climatic factors that also influence the growth and development. These are comes under abiotic factors. So the biotic factors, abiotic factors, and the soil itself, as you say, these are the agro ecosystems, crop ecosystem. Crop ecosystem is your the soil condition, that is your the edaphic factors, is soil fertility, soil productivity, that leads to your the soil physical, chemical, and biological properties. And these are the climatic factors that you are as a abiotic factors: water, light, temperature, climatic factors, and some of the biotic factors also, pests and diseases, they do influence the crop growth and development. And when these factors are there in optimum, then we can have a maximum production. The point is that suppose all are optimum, if one factor is limiting, then it will affect the the production. In case you are supplying the soil is very good, that's it supplies the optimum nutrient, and your management practice is also best for the soil. You supply the optimum water and nutrient as well. And suppose you have the abiotic factors are there, because water, light, temperature, they are also optimum for maximum production. In case the biotic factors are not taken care, you don't take care of the pest and disease or weeds. If those are not taken care, you may not attain the maximum production. So that is what we say, all the factors should be their optimum to maximize production. If you say that only single factor, suppose you say no, I am supplying the proper nutrients, optimum nutrients, or I am supplying the only the water, or you are protecting crops from pest and disease, or you are taking care of the abiotic factors. If you are take independently only single factor, will not able to support the maximum production. To have maximized production, all the factors have to be taken into account. That's why I say crop growth is a function of several factors, not a single factor. And if you want to have the maximum production, all the factors have to be taken into account in a common platform. Suppose you are growing a crop in a particular area, you have to make sure that all the factors, they are supplied to their optimum. There should be proper soil, good soil. Not only good soil, your management should be good for that soil, water supply, nutrient supply, and the plant protection measures, and the soil, the environment, the light, temperature, everything should be optimum to have the maximum production. So that is why the growth is a function of several factors, x1, x2, xn. So the growth is limited by the deficiency of a single growth factor. If single growth factor is limited, though all others are being present to their optimum amount, then also the growth is going to be affected. So to have a proper growth, all the growth factors have to be there in their optimum amount. So we have discussed earlier the pattern of the growth curve, the sigmoid growth curve, and also we have discussed about now different stages of the growth stages, and with the example of rice crop, how the growth and development, they are different, and growth and development, they do continue parallelly. So now we'll discuss about the growth laws. So there are different growth factors are there. So the growth laws, several scientists, they have proposed some of the growth laws. The first one is by Liebig, L-I-E-B-I-G, Liebig in Justus von Liebig. In 1840, he proposed the law, that is the law of minimum. That is the growth law. In 1840, he proposed law of minimum. What is that growth law? He stated that by the deficiency or absence of one necessary constituent, all the other being present, the soil is rendered barren for all those crops to the life of which that one constituent is indispensable. This law states that when nutrient in soil is minimum, it limits the action of other. When a particular nutrient, this law states that when a particular nutrient in soil is minimum, it limits the action of other nutrients which may be present at optimum. That means if the soil is supporting all nutrients except one, suppose the soil has a sufficient amount of nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, potash, calcium, magnesium, and but the deficient in sulfur. The soil is deficient in sulfur, and you are growing a crop that needs sulfur as well. Suppose most of the oilseed crops, they have the good demand of sulfur. Suppose you are growing mustard. Mustard needs sulfur, and the soil contains all the nutrients. Mustard needs sulfur along with other nutrients as well. Suppose the soil contains all the nutrients, can supply as per the requirement of the crop all the nutrients except sulfur. Then the maximum production of the mustard cannot be attained in that soil unless until the sulfur deficiency is created, though other nutrients are present in optimum amount. That means the yield response to the nutrients, that depends upon how you can rectify the deficiency of sulfur in the soil. That is what's the law of minimum. That means to have a maximum production of a particular crop, all the required nutrient for the crop has to be satisfied from the soil. So he has given the example of the water barrel. Suppose it is a water barrel, and these are the wooden plates of this water barrel, and each wooden plate, they represent a particular nutrient. What will happen now in this? So these barrels are different height. Some barrels are up to this side, and some barrels are here and here and here this side. Then can you hold water to the maximum level here? How much water the barrel can hold? Maximum. That is only up to this level, is not it? Where there is a minimum height of the wooden plate, you cannot hold water more than this. To increase the level of water or to hold maximum water in the soil, then you have to increase the wooden plate. You have to increase the height of the wooden plate. When you increase the height of the wooden plate, all the wooden plate up to this level, then you can hold water maximum up to this level. Otherwise, it not hold. Though you have some plates at the maximum height, you cannot hold water to maximum height because some plates are in minimum. That is same way. So as the water can be hold up to that point, because to hold the water, you have to increase the height of each individual wooden plate. Similarly, in case of crop as well, to have a maximum production, so if you say that only one nutrient is maximum, nitrogen maximum, we can have maximum production. No. To have a maximum production, all the required nutrient for that crop, they have to be their optimum amount. They can be so that the plant can take the nutrient and can give the maximum production. That is what's the law of minimum that is described by Justus von Liebig in 1840. Thereafter, this law, only what happens, he described this law only taking the soil nutrients, only soil nutrient as a factor. But there are so many factors are there as discussed. He did not consider the environmental factors as well. And there are some other scientists know, he did not, Liebig, he didn't consider the influence of the soil moisture supply or the temperature, carbon dioxide did not take into account. So after that, the Blackman, 1905, so he proposed the other factors like the environmental factors as well. Then he told same thing. Among the environmental factors, there are so many things are there. Carbon dioxide, light, temperature. Same principle follows there also. Suppose the environment has optimum carbon dioxide. So you can attain maximum production if there are optimum light and optimum temperature as well. Even the carbon dioxide is optimum, maximum production cannot be attained with a deficit in the light or the temperature. Same way, because to have a maximum production, you should have the optimum amount of light requirement for the crop and the temperature requirement for the crop has to be maintained to have the maximum production. That was explained by the Blackman as a law of limiting factor, the same way that by Blackman. But those things, the quantitatively, the input management for the crop production was explained by latter the scientist, the Mitscherlich, in 1909. He proposed the growth law, which is still known and still followed for yield response of the crops to nutrient supply. The input supply, that we have taken nutrient supply, how the crop yield respond to the nutrient supply. So Mitscherlich growth law that defined by the Liebig's law of minimum in a quantitative term. What he stated that increase in yield as a result of increasing single growth factor is progressively smaller and proportional the decrement from the maximum yield obtainable by increasing a particular growth factor. So, can you please understand this one? He stated that increase in yield as a result of increasing single growth factor is progressively smaller and proportional to the decrement from the maximum yield obtainable by increasing that particular growth factor. So this is explained by the graphically the relationship of the yield with nutrient supply. So well, now the time is coming up. So what I can do, I'll do this in Word document. Maybe I'll incorporate in that file. Okay. So thank you all.